Oh, what is that? Is that his music every day? Does he do that every day?
I don't know how to work this thing.
No, I'm just kidding. It's Chris Hand in for Matt Murphy. Mac Morey producing. I just want to take a second and acknowledge the guys that we have here. I had an event with my kids this morning. They were in a play. I got to surprise them and be at their first show. The kids didn't know that I was doing it. And I have to honestly say thank you to the team here. It's not every job that you can just shuffle things around like that, during the week. And at radio stations in general, you'd have program directors that'd be like, guys, we're in a book. You can't take time off. We're in a ratings period. And I just want to acknowledge, I know that you probably know this if you listen to the station a lot. The guys that we have working here are absolutely top notch. And when I said to Murphy, hey, would you be open to doing that? He didn't hesitate. He said, absolutely. Absolutely. So to work at a place that allows me to be dad first is so amazing. And I just want to acknowledge that before we really get started, because you can take everything away from me. I'm still going to be a dad. That's how I identify. And I think that everybody really should identify as things that you can't have taken away from you. I'm a husband, a father, a Christian first. And those are things you can't take away from me. You can take the show away. And I'm still going to be dad. And they let me be dad here. So I just want to thank everybody from Dan to Matt to Mac and Bell. They switched roles today as well. You guys are awesome. And thank you for letting me go be dad this morning. So kudos to the entire team here. Really appreciate you guys.
Dude, of course. I'm glad we were able to help, and I'm glad the show sounded awesome. That's so great, dude. I love that kind of stuff, man.
Good. These kids are adorable. They were so happy. They woke up in the morning and they were like, what are you still doing here? I said,
because it was a surprise?
Yeah, I didn't tell them. I didn't tell anybody.
Yes.
I didn't tell any of the kids until this morning.
Come on, that's awesome, man. I love that.
I said, well, I'm going to the show. And they said, what? They said, Dad, did you call in sick? I said, no, I didn't call in sick. Matt Murphy, he switched with me. They said, tell Uncle Murph we said thanks.
I love it.
I know. So
it's so sweet.
They were pumped. They were jazzed.
Yes.
We drove in. We listened to loud music and we jammed out. We got to the theater. They were just thrilled. And I had a front row seat for their first performance.
Important, man. Oh, that's so important.
It was so much fun. If you got young kids and you want to go see Finding Nemo Jr. Down there in Woodbury, Cannon County Arts Center, they have a open show on May 11th.
Okay.
So, and I'm going to be at the steeplechase. So that was the open public show. So that's why I had to start
that's why you had to do that. Yeah.
How do I shuffle things around? Mm-hmm. And again, thank you, Dan. Thank you, Murphy, Bell, Mac, everybody, and especially Ken Weaver. I know it was hard for him to have to. I mean, usually I'm his reprieve.
Exactly,
you know what I mean?
man.
After that morning show,
he gets to take a breath. Okay,
I'm the light
finally.
at the end of the tunnel. and today to have to come in and it's Bell and Murph. It's no, I'm kidding. But seriously though, we have the best team here at WTN that I've ever worked with, and I could honestly spend an hour praising these guys for how cool they are, and I would, but we have Joe Biden to make fun of, so let's keep the priorities in line. I'm sure that everybody will understand that I have to get to Joe Biden. What is he doing? I'm at a play for my kids, and I find out he's going to give statements. He spoke for 3.5 minutes. 3.5 minutes. And he didn't say anything. I'm not mad. Just disappointed. What are we going to do with this guy? What can we do with this guy? We just have to pray that we make it to November. Let's just make it to November. Can we make it to November? Please. This guy's a mess. You are. And the 3.5 minutes. 3.5 minutes. Should we listen to that first?
Yes, please.
All right, let's do Joe Biden and his long-winded speech. Ready? This is old Uncle Joe.
Before I head to North Carolina, I wanted to speak for a few moments about what's going on our college campuses here.
How long has he had that cough? How long? He's had that cough for at least 2 years now, right? Has he got the long COVID? Is that what's going on? He's got long COVID?
We've all seen the images, and they put to the test two fundamental American principles. Excuse me. The first is the right to free speech and for people to peacefully assemble and make their voices heard. The second is the rule of law. Both must be upheld. We are not an authoritarian nation where we silence people or squash dissent.
Wait a second. We're not an authoritarian nation who silence people and squash dissent? Isn't there somebody running against Joe Biden currently under a gag order, can't talk about what's happening to him with this political persecution? No? Is that Canada? Or is that here?
The American people are heard. In fact, peaceful protest is in the best tradition of how Americans respond to consequential issues. But, neither are we a lawless country. We are a civil society, and order must prevail. Throughout our history, we've often faced moments like this because we are a big, diverse, free-thinking, and freedom-loving nation. In moments like this, there are always those who rush in to score political points. But this isn't a moment for politics. It's a moment for clarity. So let me be clear.
Oh, here comes the good part. This is where he's clear.
Peaceful protest in America. Violent protest is not protected. Peaceful protest is.
Did you just butcher what was on the teleprompter? Yep. Survey says yes.
It's against the law when violence occurs.
Did you know that? Did you know it's against the law when violence occurs? It's weird.
Destroying property is not a peaceful protest. It's against the law. Vandalism, trespassing, breaking windows, shutting down campuses, forcing the cancellation of classes and graduations. None of this is a peaceful protest.
But, that didn't matter when it was the Summer of Love and BLM riots. It didn't matter when COVID was shutting those things down, right?
Threatening people, intimidating people, instilling fear in people is not peaceful protest.
Again, this is exactly what they called peaceful protest during the Summer of Love in 2020, no?
It's against the law. Dissent is essential to democracy, but dissent must never lead to disorder or to denying the rights of others so students can finish the semester and their college education. Look, it's basically a matter of fairness.
Can somebody get him a glass of water when he speaks? What kind of medication is he on that makes his mouth that dry? Can you hear it? Ugh. I bet you he has old man breath. Do you think he has old man breath? I bet he's got old man breath.
It's a matter of what's right. There's the right to protest, but not the right to cause chaos. People have the right to get an education, the right to get a degree, the right to walk across the campus safely without fear of being attacked. But let's be clear about this as well. There should be no place on any campus, no place in America for anti-Semitism or threats of violence against Jewish students. There is no place for hate speech or violence of any kind, whether it's anti-Semitism, Islamophobia.
He had to bring up Islamophobia, right? Had to do it.
Or discrimination against Arab Americans or Palestinian Americans.
Yep.
It's simply wrong. There's no place for racism in America.
He had to say that because if he goes full bore against these protests, well, his radical left base is going to abandon him. Spoiler alert, they've already abandoned you, Joe.
It's all wrong. It's un-American. I understand people have strong feelings and deep convictions. In America, we respect the right and protect the right for them to express that.
Unless you're one of those MAGA extremists, right?
But it doesn't mean anything goes. It needs to be done without violence, without destruction, without hate, and within the law. Make no mistake, as president, I will always defend free speech. and I will always be just as strong in standing up for the rule of law. That's my responsibility to you, the American people, my obligation to the Constitution.
It's amazing. It's amazing because, again, just a few years back, as the summer of love is going on, these Democrats had a very different attitude towards what was going on in the nation. Did they not? Did they not? Then it was mostly peaceful, if you recall. The Democrats are the party of violence. This is who they are.
Press always asks me, don't I wish I were debating him? No, I wish we were in high school, I could take him behind the gym. That's what I wish. I said, no. I said, if we were in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him.
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country. Maybe there will be.
That you cannot be civil with a political party that wants to destroy what you stand for, what you care about.
If you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome.
There needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there's unrest in our lives.
Enemies of the state.
Show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful.
President Walker, how do you resist the temptation to run up and wring her neck?
When they go low, we kick them.
They're still going to have to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump.
Yes, I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House.
That's nice.
Please get up in the face of some Congress people.
You're a stupid son of a...
It's amazing. It's amazing how quickly things change. The Democrats are the party of violence. He can talk about all this all he wants, but this is your base, bud. This is your base. Dan and Franklin, you're on the Matt Murphy Show with Chris Ham. What's up, Dan?
Chris, you're good, man. I really like the way that you go about your work and the way that you communicate. Keep up the good work. I just want to say that naturally, Biden is speaking in generalities, which really mean nothing. His speech means nothing. It's another distraction. So the Democrats love to distract, like on the border and everything else. Notice clearly, and independents, I hope you're listening to this for the independents out there, Joe Biden said nothing about violence towards police. And all of the violence is against police. If you want to take the violence compared to what is, people that are, Free Palestine, which we know that movement name means nothing. Because nobody wants to talk about. But violence towards police, all day long. Does Biden talk about it? Of course not. Because Biden does not care about police officers. Why? Because his base doesn't like police officers. So he will do whatever his base wants him to do, no matter what it is. And he will play both sides, which is the classic playbook from Barack Obama. Obama went to the Jews and told them what they wanted to hear. Then he went to the Muslims and told them what they wanted to hear. The Democrats like to play both sides. Why? Votes, because they have no principles.
Yeah, I mean, Dan, you nailed it. You nailed it. That's the only principle. No principles, right?
No principles is the way to go. Why? Votes. That's it.
That's what it always comes down to. And that's why he's given this speech. I appreciate your call, Dan. Thanks so much. That's why he's given this speech. That's why he drops Islamophobia. He's worried about both sides. He doesn't want to lose any votes, and he's losing votes in droves. Youth vote, Jewish vote, black vote, Arab vote. Everybody is fleeing the Democrat ship. And can you blame them? It is an absolute train wreck what is going on. Even Al Sharpton was on Morning Joe. This is this morning. And even Al Sharpton's like, listen, the Dems, what is up with this hypocrisy?
How do the Democrats, how do all of us on that side say January 6th was wrong if you can have the same pictures going on college campuses?
Good Lord, don't make a parallel with January 6th.
You lose the moral high ground.
That has happened, though.
And you hear Mika, don't use Jan 6 as a parallel. What's the difference? What's the difference between what we're seeing on college campuses and the summer of love? Granted, they haven't burned down a McDonald's or raided a Target yet. But these are protests that are financed from the outside. They have come in with a deliberate goal. And I don't think the goal is freeing Palestine. I think the goal is chaos. And you know that they're being funded by Soros, by the Rockefeller Foundation, by all these shadowy figures. There's puppet masters pulling the strings. And you can tell it when you look at these tent cities that they're putting up. More have been going up, by the way. You look at these tent cities. It's pretty weird when all the tents are brand new. Pretty strange when they're all the same style in different cities, in different states. I wonder if old Georgie boy got a deal on the tents in bulk. It's fascinating to watch. Also, my wife texted me. She sent me a text.
Oh, what she got to say?
She said that
I love you.
Hello, Virginia. She said the cough from Biden.
Yeah,
it's a drip cough. He's got the drip.
Got that drip.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a cocaine. It's a cocaine in White House reference.
I was thinking, dry mouth, cough. I'm wondering how his eyes look. Maybe that guy, Afro Man got the song right. Maybe it's Joe got a eye.
Maybe. It's 12:21 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I don't know how Murphy's clock works. Do we break now?
We break now.
Yeah, do we do this? It's this the same thing.
Same thing.
Except we don't have bottom of the hour news.
No bottom of the hour news.
Ooh.
I know, right?
So we get some extra moments.
Yeah, we get a little more time, a couple extra minutes.
I don't know if they plan to give me this much wiggle room.
Yeah, I know. Dangerous.
All right, Judith, Cody, and Anonymous, because Mac hasn't put the name in yet. We'll get to your calls next. Hang out with us. It's the Matt Murphy Show with me, Chris Hand, because Matt is a stand-up guy on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Is this the intro music?
This is it. We're back.
It's feels like George Clooney, ER, baby.
Feels very newsy.
Yeah. I like that one.
Yeah, it's good.
It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN 1226. My name is Chris Hand. I'm filling in for Matt Murphy, who filled in for me today because I had to go be dad. I had to go do the dad stuff with my daughter Kennedy and my son Brooks are in a play. They're in Finding Nemo down at Cannon County. So I was in Woodbury for the morning. Murphy was nice enough to fill in for me this morning so I could go see their first show. So thank you, Uncle Murph is what the kids said, and we love Matt. And I said it earlier, we're lucky to be at a station where I literally just proposed the question. Everybody's like, yeah, dude, go. Not many stations are like this. So we're very, me, my wife, the kids, very grateful for the whole crew here, from Matt to Dan to Bell to Mac to Ken, everybody just being totally cool with a flip-flop. Cody in Hermitage wants to talk about the Biden speech. Cody, you're on Super Talk. What's up, man?
Chris, I got to underline two things. First of all, what you just said, your appreciation for the team there at 99.7, it is much appreciated. I love everything that all you guys do over there. I wanted to underscore the hypocrisy of Joe Biden in this speech, who has the gall to stand up there and say that his quote-unquote job is to uphold the law. And then you look at the ongoing policies on the border of breaking and ignoring the laws of this nation. Yeah. You look at everything that the left did during the last presidential election, the lawless ways that they changed election policy without going through proper procedure. You look at all the COVID restrictions and shutdowns and how that was brought about in ways that are arguably unconstitutional.
Yep.
And to me, it just says two things. It says that this president will just follow along and say anything that party wants him to say. And maybe more importantly, it says something about how the people on the left will believe and participate in any lie presented to them by their party, as long as it supports party power and control.
Yeah.
And maybe not even necessarily in that order. Just wanted to make that comment and tell you how much I appreciate you and all the folks at 99.7. Thanks for letting me talk.
Thanks, Cody. And man, I think that your point is so good. He's talking about law and order. He's Joe Biden. Joe Biden is talking about law and order while we have a wide open southern border. Joe Biden is talking about law and order while he's secretly flying in migrants all over the country. All over the country. We got about 1 million in the queue waiting to come in on those secretive flights. Joe Biden, law and order. We were talking about the cough that Joe has, too, during the speech. Where's that? What's that cough? Gracie on Twitter sent me this, at Chris Hand on Air if you want to follow me. She said, what Biden has is a cardiac cough. It's exceptionally prevalent in late-stage congestive heart failure. Ooh, I hope that's not the case. Larry in Clarksville, what do you think about Biden's speech, Larry? Welcome to the show.
Well, I do disagree with you on one thing, and then I'll get to Biden's speech, which just makes my blood boil. In one of your ads for the Glock store, and I might have or may not have 1 or 12 Glocks, you say you're not able to win anything because you work at WTN.
Yes, sir.
I don't think what you and Matt do are considered work. Now, Dan and Brian, maybe.
Larry, I literally made the joke to somebody walking in here. How great is it that I get to have such a fake job? I will be the first to admit that this is not work, my friend.
Well, you know I love you, brother. But this Joe Biden thing, and he's sitting there, and oh, man. Tell Mac to have his hand on the red button. This Joe Biden thing where he talks about we are not an authoritarian government.
Yeah, are you kidding? Are you kidding?
We do not squelch free speech. But look at what you and your DOJ and all of the little 3-letter designator agencies have done to your primary candidate for president of this country.
Yep. 100%.
Joe said he'd like to take Donald behind the woodshed. I'd like to take old Uncle Joe behind the woodshed.
I hear you, Larry. I hear you, man. And dude, I'm so grateful that you're calling in and that everything's good with you, brother.
Well, listen, I cheated the Reaper the 6th time just so I could aggravate you and Mac a little bit longer.
Joke's on you because we're not aggravated at all. We're
glad.
We're actually so happy that you're calling in, Larry.
All right, brother. Love you guys.
All right, man. Love you too, Larry. Take it easy. Yeah, he's right. You know, Biden says we're going to follow the rule of law. They're we're not an authoritarian state. It's like, hey, bro, your political opponent is sitting in a courtroom and can't campaign because of your politically motivated charges. Trump actually had 2 rallies yesterday. He had a rally in Michigan and he had a rally in Wisconsin. He's holding 2 in one day. The rally was awesome, both of them. I have all the audio from that coming up, and he addresses the fact that Biden is doing this to him because he's losing in the polls. And Joe Biden is going down in the polls, so he's trying to jail Trump. I have that audio for you on the way. Hang out with us. It's the Matt Murphy Show. My name's Chris Hand. I'm filling in because he filled in for me. We did the flip-flop, so makes sense. And if you want to go see Finding Nemo Jr. in Cannon County, banger of a show. Absolute banger. You'll laugh, you'll cry. You'll feel like you're swimming in the big blue sea.
I'd love it.
Yeah.
I know I'd have a great time.
You want to come?
Dude, I would. I love as a thespian myself. Come on. I'm there.
The fine arts, baby.
Exactly.
We do this for the arts. It's 12:33 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. 12:36. Is this a libertarian lunch?
That's what it is, baby.
Yeah, all right. Libertarian lunch. My name is Chris Hand. You might be wondering where Matt Murphy is. He's probably halfway through the yard by now, cutting that grass.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's got the afternoon off because he switched shifts with me. So I could go be dad and go to a fine performance of Finding Nemo Jr. So
jealous, man.
Shout out to Murphy. I mean, dude, are you kidding?
Yeah,
you get to take in the fine arts in the morning,
yes,
and then you get to make fun of Biden in the afternoon.
You're living the dream, man.
God is good. Also, Todd on the members nutrition text line. Todd, I feel like Todd's been waiting for this day.
Yes.
Todd just said to me, "At least I'm not late. Show starts at 9, Chris." That's what Todd said to me on the members nutrition text line. All right, well played, Todd. Well played,
with
sir.
a vengeance.
Well played. Katie in Bellevue, you're next on Super Talk. What's up, Katie?
Hi, I'm so glad to talk to you guys. You are wonderful.
We love you, Katie. What's going on?
I just want to comment about Biden's speech, but not this one. A little while ago, maybe last week, on your show or one of the shows on your station, I heard Biden and Obama being interviewed together.
Yeah, that was
number one. I thought pretty weak that Obama had to be there, and then at the end, Obama was praising Biden for all of his accomplishments.
Yep, that was the Smartless. That was the Smartless podcast with Jason Bateman, Will Arnett, and one other guy. I don't remember the other guy, but yeah, it was ridiculous.
Every accomplishment he did was to destroy this country.
Yeah, I mean, well, if you look at it through that lens, record accomplishments.
Oh, my God. I mean, unbelievable. Yeah. And I think I know who's behind him. I once heard Obama talking about he was going to have a third presidency under a puppet president.
Yep.
I don't think that this could be anything more than a puppet president now.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
I feel, hey, Katie, I appreciate your call. Sometimes I feel like calling Biden a puppet president is, it's doing a disservice to puppets everywhere. I do. Truly feel like that. Trump had 2 rallies yesterday. He had the day off from court. So he's got Wednesdays off. That's nice. So he got 2 rallies in. He went to Wisconsin and he went to Michigan. Michigan was the second rally. But Michigan, he really highlighted that he's doing these rallies 2 a day because of Joe Biden.
I said something before. I just left Wisconsin. We had an incredible rally in Wisconsin. I got to do 2 of these things a day. You know why? Because I'm in New York all the time with the Biden trial. A fake trial.
Yep.
That all of the legal scholars say is a disgrace. It's a fake trial. They do it to try and take your powers away, try and take your candidate away that's killing them in the polls. If I didn't run, or if I was like in 4th place or 5th place or not doing well, none of those trials would exist. But we're beating them so big in the polls, your heart is going to swell. We got to get them out.
That's Trump. And where's the lie? If he wasn't doing as well as he is, would these cases be, on him? No, of course not. If he wasn't running for president, if he decided to hang it up and go spend time with the grandkids, and nobody would fault him for that, he wouldn't be charged. He wouldn't be. But, Joe Biden is losing the nation. He's losing in the polls. And so when he can't beat Trump, you're not going to beat him fairly. You have to go after him. And that's why he's trying to jail Trump.
Joe Biden is the worst, most incompetent, most corrupt president in the history of our country. And Crooked Joe knows that in a fair election, he's going down in a landslide. Every poll is showing that. You've seen the polls. We're leading big in Michigan, by the way. We're leading big. Why wouldn't we? Who wouldn't be? I mean, honestly, who the hell wouldn't be leading? This guy is coming out of a helicopter the other day. He's falling. He's holding on. Can you imagine the foreign countries, like I visited China, They must have had 100,000 soldiers there. President Xi is standing there. Can you imagine falling out of an airplane or coming down the children's stairs as they have 100,000 soldiers?
The children's stairs.
That's why Biden is trying so hard to jail. He wants to jail his political opponent like they do in third world countries or banana republics. He wants to give it a shot. There's only one problem. Every one of these fake cases is bullshit. Every single one of them.
Where's the lie? Where's the lie? Every single one of these cases, to quote the late, great Uncle Phil, bovine scatology. Bovine scatology. Every single one of them. I loved it when he said, coming down the kids' stairs, because as we all know, Joe Biden has to use the short stairs on Air Force One. This is the guy that's supposed to be leading the country. The guy who, as Trump puts it, has failed epically at every turn. Katie in Bellevue was just on talking to us, and she's like, oh, they're talking about his accomplishments. It's like, well, if you look at it through the lens of failures, he's accomplished a lot.
We're like in the Soviet Union. That's what's happened to this country. We are. Okay, go ahead. Let's go. Let's go. Think of this. Just think of this. Joe Biden failed on the border.
Yep.
He failed on inflation.
Yep.
He failed on gas prices.
Correct.
He failed on every single thing, including Afghanistan, the most vicious, embarrassing day or period in the life of this country, Afghanistan.
He even looked at his watch. He looked at his watch. We all remember when he looked at his watch.
Remember that disaster? The most embarrassing day. He failed on every single thing he touches turns to shit. Every single thing he touches turns out to be no good. He's no good on policy.
Nope.
He's no good on military.
Nope.
He's no good on finance.
Nope.
Our country is crashing. He's no good on inflation. Inflation is a disaster. It's eating you alive.
Yeah, and I love he's no good on military. I mean, I know my service members that listen will chime in. Joe Biden, and I posted this on my Instagram, also at Chris Hand on Air. I put it on my story. Wall Street Silver or Wall Street Bets. I can't remember what their actual handle is. Wall Street something. You know which one I'm talking about?
I think so.
That account.
Yeah.
It was, Joe Biden's the guy. Joe Biden is the guy that fired 7,000 service members because they wouldn't get a COVID jab. The same jab who they promised us was safe and effective and will stop the spread of transmission. That turned out to be bovine scatology as well. He fired 7,000 service members for turning that down. And then he turns around and lets in 10 million unvetted illegal aliens. No need for vaccination. No need. That's who we have in office. Jeff in Winchester, you're next on Super Talk. What's up, Jeff?
Chris, how are you, sir?
I'm good, man. How are you doing?
Doing well, thank you. Just wanted to point out and have you give us a juxtaposition. Joe Biden and Donald Trump both uttered these same words, exactly verbatim. There are good people on both sides. And then, yet the response was totally different from the media. They went berserk when Donald Trump said that with regards to Charlottesville, but when Joe Biden says it with the Hamas-Israeli protests, that's perfectly fine. Just wanted to hang up and listen.
Yeah, I mean, this is if they didn't have the double standard, they'd have no standards at all, right? But and they'll echo that hoax, right? They've echoed the good people on both sides hoax when it comes to Trump after he said, and I'm not talking about the white supremacists. I totally condemn the white supremacists. They've been echoing that. They also echo the bloodbath hoax. They've been echoing that one as well when he's talking about the auto industry. They've also been echoing the hoax that he called military members at the cemetery in France losers and suckers. They've been echoing that one as well. The media won't give it fair coverage. Why would the media give it fair coverage? The media is more focused on taking down Trump by any means necessary. Morning Joe, they had an epic meltdown this morning. Trump's going to subvert democracy. He's going to subvert democracy.
Donald Trump and people around him are figuring out how to subvert democracy if he doesn't win. And let me say that slowly, so his apologists, who will write this in an op-ed, laughing, oh, they're saying Donald Trump. No, Donald Trump's own words say. They don't suggest. They say he will subvert democracy if he doesn't win. And if he does win, it'll be worse. Yeah. He will subvert democracy more. He will fire prosecutors who will not arrest his political opponents. He said it.
Okay. We have corrupt people in our government. The same corrupt people that are going after Trump. I want all the corruption rooted out of our government, don't you? If that means cracking a few eggs to get an omelet, let's go. Let's go. But, they'll say, he's going to subvert our democracy. We're a constitutional republic, actually, sir. But, he said it. It said it in his own words. He's not only going to subvert democracy, he's going to subvert democracy more. It's going to be democracy subversion 2, electric boogaloo.
He says what he's going to do. What he's going to do, to your point, Joe, is have the FCC report to him. So he will be able to control shows like this. He wants the FTC to report to him.
Wow. Do you think, Donald Trump is going to shut us down? He's gonna use the FCC to control shows like this. Oh yeah. What's the ratings on Morning Joe? What do you think they get every day?
Oh gosh,
couple 100K.
Yeah, maybe.
Jen Psaki probably does better in the ratings than these guys.
Probably.
Yeah. I don't think he's worried about you. It's like, I think Donald Trump is a dictator. It's like, I don't think about you at all.
He wants to bring the Insurrection Act back so he can turn military troops on his own people.
Also, he's not going to turn military troops on his own people. Like the undocumented citizens, as the left puts it, not our people. Not with us.
He wants to weaponize, as you said, the Justice Department to go after his enemies.
Oh my gosh. What? Do you think he'd be the first president to ever weaponize the justice system to go after his political enemies?
Who else has done that?
I feel like somebody's done it.
I feel like we've seen that before. Am I going crazy?
I feel like that's happened. Sorry. We'll just continue playing the clip, sir.
He wants to put women on a registry in red states for abortion.
Okay, that one is just a joke. They're using the Time magazine interview that he gave. What if he wins? And they said, are you going to put women on a registry if they get abortion? He said, no, it's a state's issue. He said no. But hey, why let the truth get in front of a good talking point, right? Why let the truth spoil a good narrative? Abortion is healthcare, right? What a joke. Calvin in Lebanon, the distinguished gentleman. How are you, sir?
All right. How are you, Chris?
I'm good, man. What's going on?
Well, I just want to say, this left has no heart. They have no love unless they're losing an election, and it's all fake. These people are lunatics. But I tell you one thing the left does have that we need more on our side, and it's spine. These people got the spine. They can bring it to you. And if we don't get a backbone in this election, and I tell you, I may not should say this about Kristi Noem. I don't like what she done. And putting it in a book was just as stupid as it could be.
Absolutely.
But if she can take a dog out and a goat out and lead them to their death, she's got some spine. Now, I'm not saying she's the one that should be his running mate, but I'm just saying we need people that can stand up to this left and not cave to them. And that's a show of having some spine. It's also, people could say, no, it's a show of cruelty, this, that, and other. We have got to get more spine on our side. And I'm not voting for love. and I'm not voting for hard in this election. I'm voting for who's tough.
Yep. I hear that. I will say
Donald
this.
Trump,
I will say this about Kristi Noem. Yes, it shows that she has spine, but it shows that maybe she's a little bit off on her decision making.
Yeah, that's true. But I know Donald Trump has got the spine. He's got the spine that Putin wouldn't even start a war. He waited till Biden got in. But Donald Trump also does have heart and love. I hope we can get it all. But we've got to have spine in this election. So
amen.
That's what I wanted to say.
Hey, I appreciate the call, Calvin. What did he say to Putin? He said, if you move on Ukraine, I'll bomb Moscow. I'll nuke Moscow.
Yeah.
He said, did he believe it? He goes, 5%. That's all it takes.
All it takes.
Trump had that level of, is he serious? Is he messing with us, or is he telling the truth? And that was all you needed. Biden wouldn't even be able to say, we're going to nuke Moscow. we're going to move Moscow.
No, he'd say,
you're right.
That's his thing.
And then he would send him some money, because that's what he does. Hey, you know what? I have an idea. Let's throw money at the problem. Where are we going to get the money, sir? We'll print it. We'll create it out of thin air.
Well, Chris, you're forgetting, actually.
That's fair. That's fair. So let's keep printing that money machine. Let's make it go burr. That's what we need. That's what we need more of. It's 12:53 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. 12:59 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Hey, on the way, I have more audio from Trump's rally in Wisconsin and Michigan. Plus, Kevin O'Leary talks about the positives of AI, and I think it's negative. Is this where he screams? Yeah.
There it is.
It's 105 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Chris Hand. Matt Murphy, he filled in for me earlier. Maybe you don't get a chance to hear my show. And I understand. I'm on 9 to noon. You probably are working and doing things. You're on your lunch break now. I want to introduce myself. I do 9 to noon. I've been doing it here since July. Love the gig. Love being a part of this station. There's no better group of guys to work with than right here at WTN. And today it's an exclamation point on that. I had a family thing, right? My kids are in a play. My oldest, Kennedy, who you guys may have heard on my show before, and my second oldest, Brooks. They're 10 and they're 6, right? They're in Finding Nemo Jr. Today was their opening day.
Opening day, man. I mean, this is huge.
It's huge. It's huge. And so this is like the great group of guys that we have here. I just asked. I said, hey, would you want to switch with me for that day? And Murphy's like, absolutely. Like, just no second guessing. No questions asked. I didn't even really have to explain why. He just did it. You need to do dad stuff, go do dad stuff. We're blessed to work with a group of guys here. Dan being so cool with everything. Mac and Bell switching today. And Murphy allowing me to do his show. So I want to introduce myself. My name is Chris Hand. I normally do 9 to noon. If you listen to my show, thank you. If you haven't listened, I hope you tune in. And if you miss anything from the Chris Hand Show or you're working during that time, you can always catch the podcasts on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. We put them everywhere. And I would love for you to subscribe, hit the 5 stars, do all the things. You can find me online. I'm on Twitter, True Social, and Instagram at Chris Hand on Air. Yesterday, Donald Trump was making the most off of his day off of court. The most. He did 2 rallies. He was in Wisconsin and he was in Michigan. Do you think Biden could do 2 rallies? Like, seriously.
Can he do one?
Can he draw 2 crowds?
Yeah.
Can he draw 1 crowd? The Biden rallies are so small. Very, very tiny. Not a lot of people. Not a lot of people. More protesters than people usually. Trump did 2 yesterday. The Wisconsin one was a banger. And the Michigan one was great too. Michigan, he's outside. He walks up on the red carpet. He's doing the thing. But the Wisconsin one was fantastic. And he laid into Biden as you would expect. And he says what we all know here in the middle class. Biden has taken our wealth in these last 3 years. You think about how expensive things have gotten. It is a direct correlation with Joe Biden's policies, and Donald Trump pointed it out.
Using COVID as an excuse, crooked Joe Biden launched the greatest confiscation of middle-class wealth in the history of our country. It's middle-class wealth. He confiscated it. In 3 years, Joe Biden and his party stole trillions of dollars from hardworking Americans and gave it their political, and he gave it all to their cronies in Washington, their heirs to be. He gave so much money away, and the Green New Scam, it's the worst scam in the history of our country.
And he gave money away to foreign countries. He gave billions to Ukraine. This is what he does. Has he secured the southern border? No. Weird. But there's a big difference between Biden's economic plan and Trump's economic plan.
Joe Biden's economic plan is to make China rich and America poor. My economic plan is to make America richer than ever before, and that's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do.
And here's the thing. People believe him when he says it because he's done it before. You think about where we were in 2019 wealth-wise. Dude, the economy was booming. And where are we now? We've lost our buying power. We've lost our purchasing power. Interest rates through the roof. Credit card debt at an all-time high. The in-store prices on your groceries. Are you kidding me? Yeah, they're probably going to go up. That's a good hotkey.
I know. I'm glad we added that.
I know. That's a good one to add to the rotation. We that's a new one. Again, if you don't listen to us 9 to 12, we do some hotkeys.
Oh, yeah.
So we got the clips. That's one of the latest additions. We understand prices are too low.
Prices are too low.
Prices are too low. You know, in Joe Biden's economy, rich people are going to make money and poor folks will have a shot. That's what he said.
It's my favorite.
He said that. Now, I know Joe Biden spent a good, his speech today was 3.5 minutes? 3.5 minutes on protests. 3.5. Trump was talking about this stuff yesterday.
Thank you, Mike. With your help, we're going to win Wisconsin this November. We're going to defeat crooked Joe Biden, the worst president in the history of our country. And we're going to make America great again.
Doesn't that sound nice? Don't you want to be great again?
And it ain't so great right now.
Nope.
It's a laughing stock all over the world, including our colleges, universities. Look at what's happening to our country. And our border. You know what? Some people say they do the colleges so you get your eyes off the border. I said that last night. We're not talking about the border. Millions of people are coming in. Millions of people. And we had it. We had the safest border in history. Now we have the worst border in the history of the world. But they're not talking about that now. They're talking about colleges and universities.
He's right. I said it on my show a couple days ago. It does feel like these protests are a distraction. And it does feel like the biggest issue in our country still, despite all the protests going on, the biggest issue in our country is not being addressed. The biggest issue being the wide open southern border. We have people flooding in. And we don't let people do their job. We don't let the Border Patrol do their job. And then when you see what's happening on college campuses, all the way back to the BLM riots, we haven't let police do their job. And Trump pushes this to front and center. We have to give police their power back.
We're going to give our great police, they are great, their power back. And they're going to protect us again. And you know, you saw it last night. That's one good thing that really happened. You saw it last night because New York was under siege last night. And these people, they were intense. And the person that heads up Columbia University was a great school. It's been, badly damaged, I think, reputationally. But the person that heads it up, a woman, she waited so long. She was so weak. She was so afraid. She was so bad. They could have done this with the tents, and it would have gone quickly and no problem. But they did an incredible job. They went into one of the big buildings, a beautiful landmark building. Boy, they got the hell beat out of it last night. You're supposed to take care of those buildings.
Hamilton Hall
took a beating.
Yep.
But the police came in, and in exactly 2 hours, everything was over.
He's right. The police were allowed to do their job. The job got done. It hasn't stopped the Democrats from, changing the narrative a bit. Mayor Eric Adams says he's been on record this morning talking about the protests, and he said, it's like, it's not even really the students. He's like, it's the outsiders.
There is a movement to radicalize young people, and I'm not going to wait until it's done and all of a sudden acknowledge the existence of it. This is a global problem that young people are being influenced by those who are professionals at radicalizing our children. And I'm not going to allow that to happen as the mayor of the city of New York.
No, I like what he's saying, and he's referring to the outside agitators in these protests. And I tend to agree with him. There's a movement to radicalize the youth in this nation. There is. And we all can see it. Although where I disagree with Mayor Eric Adams is that I think that the people trying to radicalize these kids are the professors on these college campuses. That's where the radicalization starts. The radicalization has started in the public schools with the DEI narrative, with the oppressor-oppressed narrative. This is what they're being taught. And then the professors, they take their mask right off and they tell you exactly how they feel about things, like Professor Nick Rodrigo at CUNY.
The Palestinian Air Force. Shout out the Palestinian Air Force.
Wait, what?
Shout out the drones.
Oh.
Shout out the paragliders.
Is that a bridge too far? Shout out the paragliders?
No, we can't be shy about this.
You're not being shy.
We can't be shy about talking about this.
Oh.
Shout out the resistance. The resistance storming that wretched border wall on October 7th.
What an absolute evil person. You know, when Mayor Eric Adams says there's a movement to radicalize the youth, he's talking about the outside agitators at the protest. He's talking about the Antifa members that have been activated. He's talking about George Soros and all the outside money that's pouring in. But what's really happening, while that may be true, what's really happening is that they're being radicalized long before any of this happened. And they're being radicalized from their professors and their teachers and the curriculum. It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. Me and my wife go to great lengths to put our kids in a private school. We cut lots of corners. And the reason why is because we understand that this narrative and this movement to radicalize youth is happening at such a young age. It's happening way before George Soros gets involved. It's happening at your public schools. It's happening at your colleges and universities. And spoiler alert, it's been happening for a long time. We're just seeing now the fruit that it's bearing. But they started this when I was in high school. They started this decades ago. We're just seeing the fruit. We're just starting to see the fruit. And Trump points it out. As he always does, he shines a light on it, even if that's uncomfortable. And he called out Biden last night. You know, before he made his 3.5-minute speech today about the protests, Trump was saying, Biden says nothing. And to be fair, even with the 3.5-minute speech today, Biden says nothing.
The radical extremists and far-left agitators are terrorizing college campuses, as you possibly noticed, and Biden's nowhere to be found. He hasn't said anything. But they're his political base. Do you think if he did say, okay, look, let's not kid ourselves. Ladies and gentlemen, President Biden is coming to give you his words of inspiration. Now, does anybody think that it will be so inspiring that everybody will say, oh, we have to go home. We love our country. No. They'll say, do you believe the guy that's the president of that country? This guy, he needs something. Now, think of it. But he hasn't been heard from. You know, he's the president. When you have a problem like that, you should go out and talk about it and talk to the people. But there's a big problem. There's a big fever in our country, and he's not talking. But if he did, it wouldn't matter. In fact, I think it would actually make it worse.
Well, it's like the guy can predict the future. Because he says he's not talking, but if he did, it wouldn't matter. Let me ask you something. Did it matter what he said today, that 3.5 minutes? Hey, Mac, fact check for me. Have any of the protesters gone home after that Biden speech today?
Well, I hope some got their water or their humanitarian aid.
Fair.
Come on, they're going to die.
They're thirsty and they're hungry. And they need help.
They do need help. You're right about that.
Do you remember like the old Sally Struthers commercials where like they'd be like, for just $4 a day,
oh yeah,
you can feed. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we should do one of those parodies for the protesters. No,
one Uncrustable.
Yeah, one Uncrustable. Please, no peanut butter. But it's like this guy can see the future. It doesn't matter what Biden says.
Many of them aren't even students, and many of them come from foreign countries. Thousands and thousands are from foreign countries. I was wondering about that. I'm saying, where did these people come from? To every college president, I say, remove the encampments immediately, vanquish the radicals, and take back our campuses for all of the normal students who want a safe place from which to learn.
That's all they want. That's all they want. And Biden gives his speech, but nothing happens. Nothing happens. And then these universities are so soft. Trump is absolutely right. And mark the record. Today, I agreed with Donald Trump. I know. It's strange that I agree. Surprise. I agree with Trump. These universities have to get tough. Northwestern bent the knee. They gave their students scholarships for Palestinians, and segregated Muslim housing. It's like, what? You're freedom fighters, and the freedom you're fighting for is segregated housing? Oh, okay. And also yesterday, Portland State, radical Portland, they caved to the demands of the Gaza-supporting Antifa-linked activists who took over a library. Yeah. Surprise, surprise, surprise. On Wednesday, Portland State University caved to the demands. They bent the knee. They folded like a napkin. I know you're shocked. These activists, I use that term loosely, they took over the school's library. They shut down the campus in support of Gaza. They have Antifa-linked outside agitators not affiliated with the university in their ranks. And the president of the university announced in an email, we're not going to pursue criminal charges against those who destroyed and took over their library. They're not going to suspend students. They're not going to expel students. And they're not going to punish students for their role in the occupation. Oh. No consequences. Well, then, I mean, this one's, wrap it up. It won't happen again, right? Nothing like this will ever happen again if there's no consequences. Additionally, the president of Portland State University vowed to personally support scholarships and creative works dedicated to Palestine, as well as PSU's ongoing financial commitment to anti-racist work. It's amazing. You're allowed to, you can be as anti-racist as you want, as long as you're only racist towards whites and Jews. Isn't that awesome? The president also insisted that she would be giving a personal donation to the Middle East, North Africa, South Asia Student Center at PSU, which was a condition of the agreement. Wow. So brave. So brave. All of this, the caving to the demands, the folding like a napkin, it comes after the school was forced to close campus because of the occupation. And this one, I mean, they have so many Antifa in Portland. This one has been violent. Multiple assaults. Multiple. A Portland-based independent videographer, he goes by the name Brandon Farley, was physically assaulted and maced by Antifa while covering the encampment on Monday. Mostly peaceful, right? Nothing says mostly peaceful like macing a videographer. It's unbelievable. And they caved. I'm not surprised. It's 122 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. 127 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Filling in for Matt Murphy, who filled in for me because I had some dad stuff to do. So if you don't listen to me normally, I do 9 to noon here on Super Talk. If you're on your lunch break, thanks for joining us. I appreciate you. Jason on the Members Nutrition text line said, Chris, I think the loyal listeners from noon to 3 deserve better. Oh, geez, that caught me off guard.
Whoa.
He said, we are used to a professional that hits his break spots on time, not a second late. Was I late there?
Sure, that's what they're used to. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Yeah, that's it.
Well, you hang out with these guys noon to 3.
Yeah, I'm part of the libertarian lunch crew for the second half, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After you get done with your lunch.
After I get done with my lunch.
Yeah.
Exactly. I joined the libertarian lunch crew.
Yeah.
No, yeah, so it's a good time.
Yep.
That's so funny.
Keith also sent a text. I was mentioning how they're at Portland State University. They're donating. The president's donating to anti-racist causes. And I said, you can only be racist if you're against white or Jewish people, right? And Keith took offense to that. He said, Jew is not a race. White isn't a race. Black is not a race. Asian, not a race. There's only one race. That's the human race. All this talk just helps perpetuate the left's agenda. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I kind of get where you're coming from. But, like, we have eyes to see, right? And I think that it's okay to have different races. I don't do, like, the human race. I don't see color. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean?
Me either.
Like, we all see what, like, what am I supposed to say? Like, my Asian friend be like, oh, my gosh, you're Asian?
Yeah, exactly. Come on. No, it's part of who they are, too.
Yeah.
Part of all who, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. I get where you're coming from, Keith, but, it's not really what I subscribe to. Like, there are different races.
Yeah.
Like, that's cool. Right?
Yeah, it's a good thing. It's great.
That's life.
I get his overall message.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With Biden destroying the country the way he does, I didn't really plan for him to also unify it. Have you noticed that he's unified the country? And I'm not joking here. Yesterday, anti-Israel protesters and conservative protesters were unified by Joe Biden. That's protesters on both sides chanting, "Let's go, Brandon." I didn't know that Joe was going to be able to bring them together. But gosh darn it, he did. Also, did you hear what Megyn Kelly said about the protesters?
Oh, no.
I don't know. I go back and forth on Megyn Kelly. Some days I like her. Other days I'm like, eh. She's actually going to be speaking at YWLS, Young Women's Leadership Summit with Turning Point.
Okay.
In San Antonio in June. I'm gonna be there for that. I'm not a young woman, nor am I a leader. But
newsflash,
for some reason they invited me, so I'm gonna go. It's gonna be cool. Candace Owens is gonna be there. A bunch of really smart women. Megyn Kelly's gonna be there as well. And if she brings this kind of heat, I'm gonna be all for it.
And by the way, why are they so unattractive? I really legitimately want to know. Why are all the protesters so homely?
Oh my gosh.
Is she wrong? I just want everybody to I don't like insulting people on their looks. But have you seen the mug shots of these people? Have you? It looks like when one of those tiny clown cars pull up and then they pile out. That's what the mug shots look like.
I don't think they're unconnected. I'm not going to lie. I think attractive, smart people are not drawn to this nonsense. They're living their lives being successful. It's the unattractive and or dumb people who feel the need to do this to feel like they matter. Sorry.
I feel as an unattractive person, I feel like I need to defend my fellow unattractives. I think it's more dumb people. I think that it's the IQ issue. And when you listen to the protesters talk, like the spokeswoman person, I don't want to misgender, that'll upset the protesters, who said, "We're just asking for humanitarian aid." We need some water at Columbia University. Dumb. When the girl from NYU hopped on the train to come down to Columbia, they said, "Why are you protesting?" She goes, I don't really know. They told us to come here. I'm not that educated. I don't know if it's an ugly thing as much as it is a low IQ thing.
And by the way, why are they so unattractive? I really legitimately want to know. Why are all the protesters so homely? I don't think they're unconnected. I'm not going to lie. I think attractive, smart people are not drawn to this nonsense. They're living their lives being successful. It's the unattractive and or dumb people who feel the need to do this to feel like they matter. Sorry.
I just think it's the dumb people. And them being unattractive is just I don't know. Just a coincidence that they're dumb and unattractive. I think dumb is really the main factor. Gary in Gallatin, real quick, wants to talk about races. Gary, you're on Super Talk. What's up, man?
Hey, how you doing, babe? Let me turn my radio down where I won't be messing it up. Hang on 1 second. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Hey, how you doing, babe? Let me turn my radio down. I was listening to your comment. I listen to you guys every day.
Appreciate
all the
it, man.
time.
Thank you.
I mean, it's the only station I listen to. The comment about different races. Love you. I'm going to continue listening to you. But there's only one race, but there's a lot of different nationalities. And
I mean, but aren't we just splitting hairs, Gary?
No. It's just like saying female and male. There's only a male, there's only a female. But there's only one race, the human race. A lot of different nationalities.
I mean, I hear where you're coming from, and I understand the sentiment, but I just disagree. But I appreciate you calling in and giving your take, man. Thank you so much for listening.
Yeah. Hey, like I said, I'm going to continue listening to you. That was the first time I ever heard you say that, so I was just like, I might have to talk to him about that one. Might not get anywhere with it, but it was just a comment that I had to make.
No, man. Listen. I am happy you called, and I know that there's people that absolutely 100% agree with you. It just, as it turns out, I am not one of them. But I appreciate you, Gary.
Oh yeah, hey, I appreciate your show.
Hey, thanks, man. It's 1:34 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. 1:39 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. I normally do 9 to noon. I had a play to go to for my 2 oldest out of 4, and Matt Murphy was kind enough to switch with me, and I appreciate that. So if you don't usually listen to me, I do 9 to noon, and you can catch the podcast if you're at work during that time on Apple and Spotify, and I suggest that you hit the subscribe button. Do it for me. Do me a favor, please. I could use the numbers. That'd be really nice. I feel like I opened up a can of worms here on the race thing.
Yeah, seriously.
I mean, we got a bunch of calls now. It's like, oh gosh, here we go. I guess we start with Keith, who originally sent the text. Keith, what's up, man?
Hey, man, what's going on?
What's up, brother? How are you?
I've sent you messages. That's the first time I've ever spoken with you, but it's great to hear you on the radio, of course, and we can be friends and disagree like Matt says, but, my thing is this. I know it sounds like you're splitting hairs. I get it, but I believe that's what that's what the left does. I mean, it's kind of like, assault weapons or assault rifles. They always make up these terms, or, abortion is okay if it's under these circumstances, rape, whatever, mother, different things. Are the first 6 weeks, or they come up with something else. I mean, there's always something that kind of carves out, a segment for, why don't they, instead of saying, it's a race issue when there's crime in certain communities, why don't they say, hey, maybe there could be fatherless homes? That's a big statistic why there's a lot of gang violence and stuff in a lot of communities. Why don't we talk about solutions? I just think that's a way that the Marxists, they're trained. I mean, researching, you go research it, they're trained to divide and find a little niche, a little niche that they can kind of worm their way in. When I hear so many people when they start trying to get into a good conversation, well, it's because of racism, and it's kind of general. I mean, what do you mean? Is it the skin color that's causing all this, or is it policies? I think it's policies that need to be discussed. I think it's, what causes this? It's not just the skin color. If skin color made this policy, then let's look at it.
Yeah,
but what policy are you?
But I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying there. I'm just saying that races exist.
No, there's only one race. I mean, really, look it up. I mean, there's only one human race. There's not a white race, but it was made up by the slave owners in like the 17th century because they were trying to sell the fact that, hey, we're a superior race to these black folks over here. That's totally incorrect, never been correct, and it was made up then, and it's been carried on for centuries. I mean, it's a social construct. Bodie Bachman, alerted me to it. I had no idea. I was watching something by him a couple years ago, and I was like, holy cow, you mean there isn't but one race? It's a social construct? Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, but isn't that the same way that the left says gender is a social construct?
Exactly. And now they're going to try to have more than 2, like your former caller said. And they're going to try to have more than, gender. More. They make it so vague. They split you up. They split you up by your culture, and they just say race generally. They try to split you by everything: your age, your wealth, your IQ. I mean,
yeah, but I think that there are some things that we can't deny that when we see it with our eyes.
What? Yeah, I'll discuss skin color with you. I'll discuss culture with you. I'll discuss income levels with you. I'll discuss maybe some other types of barriers that have been put up artificially. Sure, there's all kinds of things that cause problems, but it's not just, I don't know, it just seems so general and like a big bucket when you say, oh, it's race. What?
Yeah,
what about the race? If you want to,
but like I'm sorry. But I'm not blaming anything on race. I'm just saying that races exist.
Well, you're incorrect. There's only one race. That's the human race. So I mean that the term is melanin levels is what most people think of. They think of that guy's darker skinned than he is, and that's a different color skin. orange man bad, and this Caucasian over here named Joe something, he's great. It's crazy.
All right, Keith.
But anyway, Keith, I hate to see the Marxists be able to get away with controlling the argument and the language like they do. They created gender issue. They created a trans. They created this hate crime stuff that Matt talked about. Every crime that you commit, as far as I'm concerned, especially if you're hurting somebody else, is a hate crime.
Yeah.
So when now they try to carve it out and say, oh, it's because of race, it's because of this, because of that. No, we just need a few laws. Murder's wrong, rape's wrong, and all. And carry out the sentences when they get them. That's the policies that need to be, stood on. I'm sorry, I'm filibustering. I'm sorry.
No, Keith. I appreciate your call, man. I really do, and thank you for weighing in. I don't want to spend too much time on this, and I do appreciate you kind of getting your word in. Thank you, but I feel like we're just getting hung up on one word. I do agree with you that there's a lot of policy that needs to be ironed out. And listen, I see a bunch of people hanging on the line that wants to talk race. I don't really want to do that. I shouldn't have even read the text. Sorry. I don't want to derail the show on some on one word. It's just silly. It's just silly. I don't know. How do we recover from this? We have 15 callers in the queue waiting to talk about race.
Yeah. I did not know we'd light a fire like this.
I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to get everybody hot and bothered. But I don't really want to spend the whole show talking about race. It's not something I honestly care about.
Oh, Keith texted in on the Members Nutrition Super Text line and said, "Sorry, man." When you're saying
don't say sorry. I read the text. I did it. It's my fault, not yours, Keith. But listen, let's get back to stuff that we can all agree on. Trump was rocking yesterday in Michigan and in Wisconsin, and he was touching on so many points. So many. At one point, though, there's a guy that comes up, and he's in an Uncle Sam costume, okay? And he wants Trump to sign his hat. And it's the most random moment that's ever happened. But Trump, he's such a master at handling these situations. This is something that Biden could never do. He handled this random situation and used it as a moment to roast Biden. So this guy in an Uncle Sam costume wants Trump to sign his Uncle Sam hat. So Trump's like, somebody give me a pen. So somebody threw a pen at him, and it fell on the ground. And I'll let you listen to what happened.
He asked me to sign it. I said, I got to make a speech here, Uncle Sam. Good-looking Uncle Sam, though, huh? Give me a pen, somebody. Let's get Uncle Sam taken care of. Come on. Give me a pen. I got to get a pen. Let's go. Yeah, good. Just throw it up there.
Did you hear it? So the pen, somebody throws a pen, and it hits the podium. You can kind of hear it clink, and then you hear the crowd react because it's like, bad throw.
Give me a pen, please.
Trump walks over to the pen. He bends over, and he picks it up.
You think Biden can bend down like that? I don't think.
All right, there's so much there that Biden couldn't do. So much. Like bending over aside. Have you seen Biden bend over? I've seen him fall over.
Got evidence of that.
I've seen him fall. Have not seen him bend. But to handle a situation like that, it happens so organically, Biden couldn't do that. Biden couldn't do that. Biden can't speak when he's not on a teleprompter. Trump roasted him for that as well, too.
I'm talking to you. So far, I've been 92% off teleprompter and 8% on teleprompter. It's true.
It's true. It's true.
But isn't it nice? Thank Thank you. But isn't it nice to have a president who doesn't need a teleprompter? Not that he can read it anyway. He can't read it.
Amen. He keeps going. The roast continues.
Now think if I read my teleprompter and I'm going, well, let's see, because of the weakness in the economy, I'd like to apologize. Pause. Pause. What was that? That's unbelievable. Pause. You know, I was watching it. I said, that was weird. They actually don't have pause in my teleprompter, you know? They have a blank space that's like you see. If there's a response, if there's no response, you just keep going. You don't have pause. Some speechwriter saying pause, they're not going to know.
This guy, he's just such a real person. And when you watch his rallies, it comes across that he's a real person. Biden gives 3.5 minutes today, prepared remarks on the protests, says nothing. Trump says more about the differences between him and Biden with stuff that is unprepared than anything Biden could prepare. The difference between them couldn't be more apparent. Hey, on the way, I have some audio from Kevin O'Leary. Kevin O'Leary, Shark Tank guy, Mr. Wonderful. He's talking about AI. And he's talking about how AI can be used to identify these protesters years down the road. And he highlights it as a good thing. I tend to disagree. We'll play the audio and discuss on the way. It's 1:51 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Is this like techno funk kind of music?
Almost techno punk.
I feel like this is what Murphy listens to while he mows the lawn. Right? Don't you think? Couldn't you picture that?
100%.
Like that's like the theme song to Murphy's afternoon. Well, it is. This is the Matt Murphy Show. My name is Chris Hand. Listen, if you're wondering who the heck I am, I host 9 to noon. I appreciate you joining me today. I also appreciate Matt Murphy flip-flopping shifts with me because I had to go to my kids' opening day for their play, Finding Nemo Jr. Very, very proud of them. My daughter Kennedy, my son Brooks.
So awesome.
They did an awesome job. There's a public showing on the 11th. In case anybody wants to go to Cannon County. You're down in Woodbury. They have two things that people can't get enough of in Woodbury. This is what they're saying. It's Cannon County Arts Center, and they have the best McDonald's in Tennessee.
Ooh, wow. Okay.
Listen, I didn't believe the hype. Went to that McDonald's. Haven't been to a better one.
Whoa, it was fire. Okay, I'm there. I love it.
I know it's random, but that's what
that is really random. But that's great.
It's just good to know.
Well, and then number 3, Finding Nemo Jr.
Finding Nemo Jr.
I mean, come on.
Well, that was wrapped up into number 1.
You're right.
Yeah, my kids love doing plays down there. They do a great job. All the people there. You know, all the people in that art center, they listen to us.
No way.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh yeah. Good
That
group,
makes me happy.
Good group of people. I know sometimes theater does theater things. Not Cannon County. They're based. We like them down there. So Kevin O'Leary, I was telling you about this audio clip. I want to play it for you, and then we'll probably get into more discussion on the other side of the news. But this is Kevin O'Leary, and he's talking about the difference between this protest going on right now and protests we've seen in the past.
Student protests have been with us hundreds of years, and there's always the passion when you're young.
All right, I didn't mean to stop it so soon. Hundreds of years? Student protests, hundreds of years? I don't know. Fact check that.
What's different about this time is for the first time ever, because you think about the protests in the 60s and 70s, they were shot on 16-millimeter film. Very, very grainy, hard to get resolution, particularly at night. Not the case now. Everything being shot now is 1080p or 4K, even the surveillance cameras. Every single image, even at night now, goes into an AI generator and will tell you who that individual is. So I hire people. I have a lot of companies. I hire thousands of people. Within weeks, I'm going to be able, when we're doing your background check, I'm going to find this because it's going to be in there on the dark web. Those are the services we buy. It's only $5,000 to do a deep, dark check. Here's your resume with a picture of you burning a flag. See that one? That goes in this pile over here because I can get the same person's talent in this pile that's not burning anything.
Right.
I don't care what university or what you're burning or whose side you're on. You'll never know why you didn't get a mortgage. You'll never know why you didn't get into college. You'll never, in advanced education, you'll never know why you didn't get the job.
So he's saying you'll never know. This is a little scary. And I think it highlights the dangers of AI. Because what if this is used against you for going to a Trump rally? What if you don't get a mortgage because you're a conservative? What if you don't get a mortgage or you don't get a job because you supported the wrong guy in the election? I think there's a lot more dangers to what he's highlighting as a positive with the advance of AI. But I want to get your opinions on it, and we'll talk about it after the break. 615-737-9986. Should these college kids be held accountable for dumb decisions in their youth? Should we all be held accountable? 2:05 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand, in for Matt Murphy. You know, I normally host 9 to noon. Matt Murphy hosts 12 to 3. Today I had an event for my kids. They're in Finding Nemo Jr. down in Woodbury at Cannon County Art Center. And it was their opening. It was their opening show. So Matt was kind enough to switch with me for today. If you don't normally get a chance to listen to me, thank you for giving me a shot today. You can always find the podcast of my show on Apple and Spotify. And I suggest that you connect with me online. I'm on Twitter, True Social, and Instagram at Chris Hand on Air. Hit the follow button. I'll follow back. So I was playing this audio from Kevin O'Leary. And he's talking about the differences between these protests and protests on college campuses in the past. And he's highlighting how the footage is much better. We have 4K HD cameras getting great footage. And he highlights that AI is going to be used to identify people in the crowd based just upon their eyes or their gait, which is like the way you walk. And he says that's a good thing.
Student protests have been with us hundreds of years, and there's always the passion when you're young. What's different about this time is, for the first time ever, because you think about the protests in the 60s and 70s, they were shot on 16-millimeter film, very, very grainy, hard to get resolution, particularly at night. Not the case now. Everything being shot now is 1080p or 4K, even the surveillance cameras. Every single image, even at night now, goes into an AI generator and will tell you who that individual is. So I hire people. I have a lot of companies. I hire thousands of people. Within weeks, I'm going to be able, when we're doing your background check, I'm going to find this because it's going to be in there on the dark web. Those are the services we buy. It's only $5,000 to do a deep, dark check. Here's your resume with a picture of you burning a flag. See that one? That goes in this pile over here, because I can get the same person's talent in this pile that's not burning anything.
Right.
I don't care what university or what you're burning or whose side you're on. You'll never know why you didn't get a mortgage. You'll never know why you didn't get into college. You'll never, in advanced education, you'll never know why you didn't get the job, because we see you now. And all you need is to have your eyes exposed with a new 4K image, and for the rest of your life, you're in this pile. So there's plenty of consequences for all those people. Even an image that far away, AI can generate who they are by the way the body moves. I can't believe the stuff I find in background checks now.
It's kind of scary because he's very accurate. He's very accurate. But is this a bridge too far? If you're a college kid and you're burning a flag because you're a dumb young college kid, does that mean you shouldn't get a mortgage in your 40s? Honestly, if you vandalize a building, does that mean that you shouldn't get hired for a job decades down the road? Because that's what he's saying is going to happen with AI. And I warn you, if they're going to use it against that side, they'll use it against our side. And so are you going to be denied a mortgage because you bought a firearm? Would you be denied a job because you went to a Trump rally? Well, Trump's an evil racist, right? Depending on what institution it is, this can be deployed in so many different ways. And the dangers of AI in this scenario, Kevin O'Leary is highlighting this as a positive. This, to me, is one of the scariest aspects of AI. So you're telling me I'll never know why I didn't get a mortgage. I'm sorry. If these college kids are doing stuff we don't agree with, but they pay their bills on time and they have good interest, they have good credit scores, why would they be denied a mortgage? Because we don't agree with their thoughts? Is this a bridge too far for you? Because it's a bridge too far for me. And while I disagree with what they're protesting and how they're doing it, vandalism and spray paint is going to mean you don't get a job 20 years down the road? I'm sorry. There's been so many instances where you make dumb mistakes as a kid. This is what we do. This is the nature of growing up. And it's going to follow you because of artificial intelligence? This is what he's saying. He's saying that you're going to be denied a mortgage and you'll never know. I thought this was protected under the First Amendment. I thought that this is fine. We're told that you're allowed to burn American flags. That's free speech, right? But Kevin O'Leary is saying, no. You're not allowed to do that. And we're going to punish you without you knowing why or when. That to me is terrifying. It's terrifying. And as AI advances, these things are going to get way, way worse. And we've seen this, the House vote on a new bill yesterday that's going to define anti-Semitism differently. It's going to change the definition of anti-Semitism, which, like, it sounds good. It sounds good in theory, right? We don't want anti-Semitism. But listen, that's protected under the First Amendment. You're allowed to have vile thoughts, and you're allowed to say vile things. But now it's going to be changed if it passes through the Senate. And it's going to be weird. Under this new anti-Semitism legislation, accusing Jews as a people of being responsible for a real or imagined wrongdoing committed by a single Jewish person or group, or even acts committed by non-Jews, you can be punished for anti-Semitism. So if you said something like the Jews killed Jesus, you could be punished for anti-Semitism. If you said the Holocaust didn't happen, you could be punished under this new anti-Semitism bill. European countries have been doing this for a long time. I'm always reminded of something my Uncle Bob said. You're not going to make these thoughts go away by policing it. He always said, I'd much rather have the Nazis be able to march down the street and hold a rally, because at least I'll know who the Nazis are. At least they'll have their armbands on. Because you're not going to change their minds through legislation. You change their minds through speech and through talking to them. But under this new anti-Semitism bill, well, you could be in trouble for denying the Holocaust, just like they do in European countries. You can't legislate the dumb out of people. You're just going to make them hide their views. James in the borough wants to talk about Kevin O'Leary and AI. James, you're on Super Talk. What's up, man?
And that guy scares me to death sometimes. I mean, I know he's very intelligent, but, smart people can say dumb things as well.
Yep.
So, I mean, the whole situation of everything to the average, and I feel myself an average citizen of this country. I've worked since I was 16 years old. I'm 60 years old now. And it all scares me, man, because I feel like we've lost our way. So, and it's not a race thing. It's not to me, I don't know. It's like they divided us into classes. And one, it's like when you were in school, you were in the cool crowd, or you were with the nerds, or you were with the freaks or whatever, and none of them liked each other, not even knowing that person. And then, shockingly, down the road, you meet that person and talk to them and realize that you went to school with them, and wow, how much we have in common.
Yeah, it's insane. And I appreciate your call, James. And what happens if HR 6090 passes, which defines as anti-Semitism, right? Is the AI going to be used to find you saying bad things on closed-circuit TV? So they're going to change the contemporary examples of anti-Semitism. They're going to include, but not limit to, using the symbols associated with classic anti-Semitism, like claims of Jews killing Jesus, or blood libel to characterize Israel or Israelis. Okay. So much has been called blood libel lately. You'd have to define that a little bit more. Claims of Jews killing Jesus. Are we outlawing the New Testament? And is this the new level of wrongthink? If you course this out and you look at it and you compare it with what Kevin O'Leary is saying with AI, okay, if you believe in the New Testament and you say Jews killed Jesus, does that mean you're not going to get a mortgage down the road? Like, the scary implications are all over the place here. And this, the official definition of anti-Semitism that Congress voted to codify into law it could be used to prosecute Americans for hate speech. It's crazy. This is what free speech is about in this country. We have a right to protest in this country. You don't have a right to break the law, but if you do break the law when you're a kid, is that going to be held against you down the road because of AI? And with this anti-Semitism HR 6090, I mean, there are things in this that should scare every American. Every American. Claims of Jews killing Jesus or blood libel. So that just, it outlaws verses in the Bible. What if you make claims about Jews controlling the government? Should you be called anti-Semitic for that? Is that not free speech? This entire HR 6090 is unconstitutional and absurd. And I heard Burchett on with Matt Murphy during my show, and Burchett voted for it. That completely surprised me. Completely. Massey didn't vote for it. Gates didn't vote for it. But this new state-sponsored definition of anti-Semitism is wild. It's wild. I hope it doesn't get through the Senate. It's unconstitutional on its face. Anti-Semitism is wrong, but this legislation has been written without regard for the Constitution. And if we force people to hide what they think, we're just not going to know who they are. These thoughts aren't going to go away. Again, I go back to what my Uncle Bob would tell me. You can outlaw these protests on the street, but then we don't know who the Nazis are. We don't know who the anti-Semites are. The only way you're going to fix it is with more speech. You're not going to legislate your way out of people's hate. Period. And the bill says the definition of anti-Semitism includes claims of Jews killing Jesus. I'm sorry. The Bible is very clear, and there's no debate on that. The Jews and Rome killed Jesus. Matt Gaetz was going in on this on Twitter, and he just starts quoting verses. Acts 4:10. Be it known to you all and to all the people of Israel that by the name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth, whom you crucified, whom God raised from the dead, by him this man is standing before you well. Oh, that's anti-Semitism under HR 6090. That's anti-Semitism. Acts 3:14-15. You denied the holy and righteous one and asked for a murderer to be granted to you and killed the author of life whom God raised from the dead. To this we are witnesses. That's anti-Semitism. That's anti-Semitism now. For you, brethren, became imitators of the churches of God in Christ Jesus, which are in Judea, for you suffered the same things from your own countrymen as they did from the Jews, who killed both the Lord Jesus and the prophets, and drove us out, and displeased God, and oppose all men by hindering us from speaking to the Gentiles that they may be saved, so as to always fill up the measure of their sins. Under HR 6090, that's hate speech. That's anti-Semitism. So as we course this out and you think about O'Leary with the AI, what about street preachers? You know, we talk about protests, you're caught on camera. Okay, what if you're just a street preacher? Is this anti-Semitism going to stop you from getting a mortgage down the road because you're just quoting verses from the New Testament? It's terrifying. Patrick in Clarksville, you're next on Super Talk. What's up, Patrick?
What's up, Chris? Appreciate you taking my call, buddy.
Absolutely.
Just in the Bible, it says we're going to be persecuted in 2 Timothy 3:12 if we're going to live the godly life. So as a Christian conservative, we're going to have, if we're willing to stand up for what's right, we're going to have to accept some of the negative consequences if that's what you want to look at it. But, I mean, if we're going to stand up for what's right, we're going to have some flat catchback. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, man, I absolutely do. And this isn't something that really shocks me. It's just, I guess the Christians being persecuted aspect of it doesn't shock me. But the fact that Congress would vote for this and it's going to the Senate, That's wild because it's completely against the First Amendment.
Yeah, I see what you're saying there, but like I said, just as a godly man, I expect to if I'm going to stand up, I expect to be persecuted. You know.
Fair enough. And listen, I get where you're coming from, Patrick. I appreciate the call, man.
Yeah, thank you, buddy.
Yeah, of course. John in Gallatin, you're next on Super Talk. What's up, John?
Well, it's just, it goes on and on with these stupid lawmakers passing silly laws. There was a number of laws broken during those demonstrations or rioting, whatever you want to call it. When those people were gotten in the face of, and they weren't allowed to go to class, that is simple assault on its face. All they have to do is enforce the laws that we have on the books, and they don't need a silly law like that so-called Republican Burchett voted for. No wonder the people don't have any faith in the Republican Party. They're a bunch of idiots.
Well, and it also blows my mind that we have a wide open southern border, and we can't get anything done about it. But we can band together and send money to Ukraine. We can band together and outlaw anti-Semitism, but we can't actually change any of the real problems in this country, like the wide open southern border.
Absolutely. How long did these riots go on? They can call them demonstrations, whatever they want. They were riots.
Yep.
They were getting in the face of people. They were assaulting people. They were kidnapping people.
Yep.
They were threatening people's lives. How long did that go on? Where was all the damn Republicans? I didn't hear from any of them. All I heard was crickets.
They were too scared to be called racist, John.
They're spineless.
Yep, you're absolutely right.
I'm sick of them.
Me too.
I'm sick of them. You know what? They are the Union Party. I'll never vote for another. They'll never get another dollar from me.
Yeah, I'm done donating to the cause.
I'm sorry, but I'm really wound up about this. I am a pissed off American.
I hear you, John, and I appreciate the call. And listen, we can all agree anti-Semitism is wrong. Like, that's not up for debate. But we have the First Amendment. And under the Anti-Semitism Awareness Act of 2023, HR 6090, you could essentially convict Christians for anti-Semitism for believing in the New Testament. That's insanity. That is the clear definition of insanity. And it goes against the Constitution. It goes against the First Amendment. It's 222 on Super Talk, 99.7 WTN. Hey, that's me. 227 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I mean, me and Mac are still talking off the air about this about the anti-Semitism stuff, but also the Kevin O'Leary AI. I feel like they go hand in hand. It's crazy. I'm thinking about when I see the AI conversation with Kevin O'Leary, and he's talking about protesters, and he's like, well, you're gonna do that. Well, I have video, and now you're not gonna get a mortgage. And the guys on the 5 just kind of laugh it off. And I'm thinking, guys, this AI is a double-edged sword, and it's going to be used against your kids and your grandkids. We need to push back against that. Also, I don't know about you, but I had very different worldviews from 16 to 20 because I had no world experience. So these kids are going to grow up. They're going to change their mind. They're going to evolve, and you're going to say that they're not going to get a mortgage? Blows my mind. It blows my mind. And we were also talking about the anti-Semitism bill. It's HR 6090, 1314 on the members' nutrition text line asked. HR 6090. Jackson in Smyrna wants to talk about the Kevin O'Leary AI. Jackson, you're next on Super Talk. What's up, man?
Hey, good to talk to you. I understand the premise of what you're saying about the youngsters in college and this stuff following them for years, but I know as a business owner, you want a certain type of person working for you. At what point do I quit looking up or quit researching to try to get that person? Am I not allowed to? And as far as the anti-Semitism bill, that's crazy. That's just ridiculous. I think they kind of do go hand in hand, but I think Kevin O'Leary saying that you're not going to get a mortgage, I think that's a little much.
I feel like that's a bridge too far.
Anybody that I deal with financially will make a decision based on, something like that. I think that part of it's a little, I think he's kind of adding to that a little hyperbole there. But I do want to know the person or the people that I deal with or that I hire. Why can't I find those things out? Why can't I look those up?
Well, no,
I guarantee you, if you took your children to a daycare and there was a hint of something strange going on, you would find those methods, proper.
No, and I get where you're coming from as far as somebody going for a job, right? And I get it when it comes to like recently, right? But the way they laughed when he says you're not going to get a mortgage and you're never going to know why, it's like, that's going to be used against our side too, because you go to a Trump rally. Okay, well, now you have a woke person at a bank who's going to be looking you up via AI, and you're not going to know why you didn't get that mortgage.
Yeah, I know, and I understand that to a degree. I really do. But I know as a Christian, I try to live my life as if I'm being held accountable at every moment of every day anyway. I
don't
totally understand why these others can't.
I totally agree with that. But Jackson, is there something that you ever did as a kid that you are glad didn't follow you around?
I think this is where I take the Fifth Amendment, isn't it?
Yeah, but see what I'm saying? And like, but you know where I'm at. It's like, and I have 4 young kids, and they're age 2 to 10.
Yeah,
there's going to be.
I don't take this stuff out in public. That you may be talking about or asking me what I've done as a youngster. But, I mean, these people, a lot of those kids that are acting up and that are causing these riots, because that's basically what it is, they are, a lot of those have never been told no. They don't know what accountability is. I mean, you can look at them and tell that. You can and listen to them, because you've got kids on there that's never paid taxes, that's never contributed to the economy in any shape, form, or fashion, and here they are still living off mom and dad. And if they did have a student loan, it's paid for now by the government. Yep. Who are they to tell me what to do?
And while I agree with everything you said there, they're idiot kids. And they're going to get more life experience under their belt. And then is this going to be held against them when they're 40 and conservative?
Well, I don't know. That's what I've done as a conservative that I'm ashamed of. Not one thing. And if it's used against me in this way, so be it.
See, because, I think that's the wrong. I think that's the wrong line of thinking, man. And I think that excuse me if I'm wrong. You're older in your age, right? Like you're an adult. This is going to impact young kids. If you say something dumb at 16, if you say something dumb at 20, that's going to impact you into your 40s and 50s?
Yeah, but I don't think this is going to become something that's in everyday life. Kevin O'Leary has the ability and the money to do things that
I have to disagree. I think that this is going to become more prevalent, more easily accessible. You think about computers. Computers were very expensive, very expensive. It was a rich family back in the day. To have 2 TVs in your home, you were like elite. Now we have TVs in every room. This is going to become at the fingertips
true, but at the same token, my mom and dad never used computers. So it's an age thing, and it will change. I know it will as it gets more prevalent. But I don't know that searching up someone to that degree is going to be commonplace.
I have to disagree. I think it might not be commonplace now, but I think as we go into the future, at the rate that this AI is developing, we're 2-3 years away from it being commonplace. We're 2 to 3 years away from these background checks being completely AI and automated, and this being the standard.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. Maybe so. Maybe you're right. I hope you're wrong, but at the same time, whether you like it or I like it doesn't matter. It's coming.
I think
so
that
you better gird your loins and be ready for it.
The one thing that we can agree on, Jackson, is that we both hope I'm wrong. It's 2:33 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. 2:37 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. I'm in Matt Murphy's spot today. Normally I do 9 to noon. Murphy was absolutely so kind today. I wanted to go to my kids' opening day for their play. And Matt was kind enough to switch shifts with me. Everybody at Super Talk was actually awesome. Mac and Bell switched shifts. Dan okayed the whole thing. Nobody gave me any grief. And they said, go be dad. And this is one of the reasons why I love this place and why I love working here. And another reason is I love talking to you guys. And I love getting your opinions on things and having these conversations.
I fought it hard for the record. I said that this place is way more important. Come on, we got to keep him staying here. Come on.
Well,
they just wouldn't do it.
I appreciate you standing by your truth. So thank you.
I was just kidding.
All right, let's go to Dave, my favorite Hebrew on line 4. Dave, what's up, man? You're on Super Talk.
Oh, what's going on, guys? How are y'all?
Good. How are you, sir?
Pretty good. I told Mac I needed to drop some lots of balls of truth on.
Let's go. Listen, I'm actually excited that you called in.
Well, how can I not? I would wager that I am probably tops one of maybe 3 Jewish conservative listeners you might have.
Anecdotally speaking.
All that being said, I'm very constitutionally conservative. I don't think we need anything from the government to tell us what anti-Semitism is. We can see it, and in what's going on college campuses, we can hear it in the words of gas bags like the congresswoman from Mogadishu, Ilhan Omar, and the congresswoman from Gaza, Rashida Tlaib, and her their jihadi sympathizing cohorts, Cori Bush and AOC. What I want to know is if when are these kids going to get the courage of their convictions and go volunteer to be human shields for the next IDF airstrike?
Yeah, honestly. But I think we can both agree these kids have no convictions.
Well, they don't. But the thing that I'm glad I'm not in college anymore. And because I saw a video of some kid at UCLA. He was a Jewish kid, and he was trying to get to class, and they literally were blocking him from class. And I thought to myself, I was like, I would body check those kids into the next zip code.
Yeah. Oh, and I know exactly the video you're talking about. It's infuriating. But
and of course, I guarantee I would be the one that would get arrested. But you know what? In that instance, go ahead. Here, put the bracelets on.
But here's the thing, and as a Jewish person, you tell me what you think about this. You made the point that we can all see what anti-Semitism is. It scares me that this HR 6090 with the new definition of anti-Semitism, it's not going to stop it. It's going to drive it underground, and we're not going to be able to see people for who they are. What are your thoughts on this?
I'm 100%. I couldn't agree with you more.
Because you can't legislate mind change.
Well, no, you can't. Just like progressives / liberals / Bolsheviks will always try to legislate human nature because human nature is not fair because humans are all different.
Yep.
This is no different. This attempt to label anti-Semitism, and you're absolutely right. Since when can we not criticize a foreign government, even a foreign government of our allies?
Yeah, we should be able to. And I think that, and I'm a Christian, and I talk to a lot of Christians, right? They get hung up on defending Israel, and I understand that, but we're criticizing a government, not a people. And I think that's a big distinction.
Well, and and Mark Levin has gone to great lengths to illustrate this. In Netanyahu, you have, and I agree with Levin's characterization because I'm a history geek and I happen to love Winston Churchill. You have that region's Winston Churchill. He is literally the only guy. Mm-hmm. There was a quote before by Churchill to Neville Chamberlain when he signed the non-aggression pact with Hitler. He said, "You had a choice between war and dishonor. You chose dishonor and shall have war."
Yep.
That is exactly what they are trying to have Bibi do. And he's not going.
And I think, listen, I think Bibi's been in the right and he's doing the right thing by his people. But to outlaw criticism of a foreign government is crazy because when you think about it, half of the population was criticizing him before all the October 7th stuff happened. There were protests for Benjamin Netanyahu. So this is something that even the citizens of Israel do. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So it's the craziest thing.
Yeah, I like I said, I 1,000% disagree with it. And, Matt Murphy said it. You have said it. Literally almost every single one of your callers has said it. And I'll repeat it. If you truly believe in what the Constitution says, yes, it's a tired phrase, but it is true. I may despise what you say, but I will defend to the death your right to say it. Because if we don't do that, it is an extremely slippery slope.
Hey, Dave, I really appreciate you sharing your perspective as a Jewish listener. Thanks so much, man.
All right, guys. Y'all take care. Bye-bye.
Hey, you too, brother. Appreciate you. Let's go to Pat. He wants to talk about Kevin O'Leary and AI. Pat, you're on Super Talk. What's up, man?
Hey, Chris, I just want to let you know that what Kevin O'Leary said, that horse is already out of the barn. You got companies looking at kids' social media, and if they don't like what they saw on their social media, they don't get the job now.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I have firsthand knowledge. A kid was at the FBI. Had gotten almost all the way through the process. They saw something that he had said on YouTube or whatever it was, and they said, "Nah, we can't use you." And they basically told him.
Yeah, I get it, but the thing is when it comes not just to jobs, but when he leaned over into mortgages and things of that nature, and saying you'll never know why. And the people around the table laughed like, haha, we'll show them, those anti-Israel protesters. I'm sitting here thinking the ramifications for conservatives and our kids moving forward is not something to laugh at, because you're going to get spotted in a MAGA hat and then you're going to be on a no mortgage list.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying it's already out there. I mean, you look at the banks, what they're doing for companies that sell firearms.
Yeah.
Just because you sell a legal product, they're not going to do business with you. It's already here.
Yeah, no, I hear you, Pat. But I think what we do need to push back against it, we shouldn't just bend the knee and say, oh, well, it's too late.
Well, I agree with you there. I don't agree with that legislation either. But unfortunately, it is what it is. I'm afraid the horse is out the barn.
Yeah, and you may be right, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't speak out against it.
Absolutely.
Hey, I appreciate your call, Pat. And people do look at social media. I had a situation in my own life here just a couple days ago. There was a hire at a business that my children attend. Parents found out about the hire. They wanted to learn more about this person. They looked at the background, and it was communist and Marxist and DEI written all over it. And parents were in an uproar, and they rescinded the offer. People are going to look at social media history. That's something that's going to happen. But we're going to get to a point with the AI as it moves forward and snowballs that it's going to be laser quick, super cheap, and it's going to be able to tell everything about a person. So maybe you don't get a mortgage because of your political lean. Maybe you don't get a job because you bought a firearm. There are so many ramifications on this, and we're we're walking down this road, and to hear the guys on Fox, on the 5, laugh because it's used against, quote unquote, our political enemies, and not realize the ramifications on us is insanity. Absolute insanity. But they laughed. And they thought it was a joke. They look at it wielded against our political enemies and they think, oh, this is fine. This is fine.
Within weeks, I'm going to be able, when we're doing your background check, I'm going to find this because it's going to be in there on the dark web. Those are the services we buy. It's only $5,000 to do a deep, dark check. Mm-hmm. Here's your resume with a picture of you burning a flag. See that one? That goes in this pile over here because I can get the same person's talent in this pile that's not burning anything.
Right.
I don't care what university or what you're burning or whose side you're on. You'll never know why you didn't get a mortgage. You'll never know why you didn't get into college. You'll never, in advanced education, you'll never know why you didn't get the job because we see you now.
We see you now. You'll never know why you didn't get the job. You'll never know why you didn't get into college. You'll never know why you didn't get a mortgage because we see you now. And they laughed. But they didn't understand the implications. And the pendulums swing. It may be a conservative one day using these tools against leftists. And then the next day, same week, it's going to be a leftist using these tools against conservatives. But they sat around that table and they laughed. They missed the mark. It's 2:49 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It's 2:54 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. If you're wondering where Matt Murphy is, we did a flip-flop today. My kids were in a play, so Murphy switched shifts with me so I could go be dad. And joining us now from the drive, Brian Wilson. What's up, sir?
Well, I'll tell you what, isn't that nice? Because I got to tell you, there's nothing more that you enjoy as a parent than these moments, right?
Amen. And I try to identify with things that people can't take away from me. You know what I mean? And being a dad is the most important job I have.
Yeah, it is, and you sounds like you spend a great deal of time working with your kids, and I love that about you. But it is. I can remember when my daughter would have special events, and sometimes work would get in the way, and it was always a real struggle. Your obligation to the people who pay your salary and your audience and all of that versus these rare moments that come along where you have an opportunity to be there for your kid, and your kid really. I mean, they may tell you, "Oh, it's okay, Dad, I understand." But they love it when you're there. Oh, they do.
And we surprised them this morning. So it's two of my four are in this play. So it's my 6-year-old Brooks. It's his first play. And then my 10-year-old Kennedy. She's done a bunch, but I didn't tell them that I was coming. So they woke up this morning and it's 7:15. They're like, "Dad, did you call in sick?" It's like, no. I got the shift switch with Murphy. So I'm coming to the play, and they were just jazzed.
Yeah.
So
tell me about the respective roles. That's the important thing. What are they portraying?
So it's Finding Nemo Jr. Down in Cannon County. So we're submersed in the big blue ocean. My daughter is one of the fish, and my son he's got multiple roles. He's a sea turtle sometimes. He's a seagull other times.
So there'll be costume changes.
Oh, it was unbelievable. The pageantry was on full display.
Yeah. Did you ever do anything like that when you were a kid?
No, I didn't. Listen, I didn't have the courage to get up in front of a live crowd. Even now, I can do radio because I can't see these people. You know what I mean?
When I was in junior high school, I had a choir teacher, Miss Pemberton. She was the best. I mean, and by the way, last time I checked, she's still teaching choir in the state of Texas, and she was very imaginative and a very good choir teacher, and I loved choir. And she talked me and another guy by the name of Jeff Freeman into doing the Roy Clark song "Thank God and Greyhound She's Gone" at a big concert, and we did it. And Jeff sang high harmony, and I sang the melody and played guitar. And it was, my mom and dad could not have been more proud to have me singing "Thank God and Greyhound She's Gone," and it was I'll always remember it as one of those great moments. So
I love
these things stick with you; they really do.
It's so cool. It's just fun to watch them do their thing, man. And I said it earlier. We couldn't have a better team here. Like when I mentioned it to Murphy, he was like, "Yeah, done deal, no worries." I mentioned it to Dan, he's like, "Of course." And I know you've had news directors and program directors like, "You can't take time off. We're in a book." But to have a crew here that's like, "No, go do the dad stuff." It's so awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. It is a good company and a good working group, and I find myself actually liking very much the people that I work with. I can't always say that has been true.
Yeah.
But it is true here. It is absolutely true.
We're in a unique environment where we get along with everybody we work with.
Yeah. Well, coming up here on the drive, if you don't mind, I'm going to throw a little bit out here. Biden gave a statement this morning, finally, about all the protests. It was a day late and $1 short.
Yeah, seriously.
And why in the world would he be doing it now? But I'll try to answer that question. I've got a 2024 weird poll that shows that this thing, if this poll is correct, is a complete runaway for Trump. And I'll try to explain that one and why I have some concerns about the poll, but maybe it's on to something. And then Kristi Noem last night tried to explain in greater detail to Sean Hannity why she shot cricket.
Oh, jeez.
And she came up with what I thought was a pretty good explanation, at least one that I think people have to consider. So my audience will get the chance to hear that and then also call in and say, now, is that something you accept? Can you now forgive her if you were concerned about it before? So all those things ahead on the drive.
I'm looking forward to that. Hey, let me ask you something. Who is your dream pick for VP?
Well, I don't know that I have a dream pick. I think that Tim Scott is a good choice.
You like Tim Scott?
I think he brings a lot to the table, and I think he could be very helpful. But I mean, look at the wonderful thing about it is, if you look over on the other side of the equation, they got nobody.
Yeah, fair.
But boy, we've got an abundance of riches. A lot of people who would make great running mates for Donald Trump.
I'm really hoping and pulling for either J.D. Vance or Sarah Huckabee Sanders.
I tell you, J.D. Vance would be awesome. He's very strong. He's a great communicator, and that'd be one to watch for sure.
And he seems just like a regular guy. He just seems like a person that you could meet and hang out with on a soccer field as you watch the kids play.
Absolutely, I agree. I think he's a pretty decent dude.
Yeah, same here. And Sarah Huckabee Sanders, I mean, she's just a star. Although I'd hate to lose her in Arkansas.
Yep, that would be a great loss, and I think she probably wants to see that out. My guess is.
I hear you. Well, hey, thanks for letting me be a part of your afternoon. Filling in for Matt Murphy, Brian Wilson in The Drive is up next on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.